Hi, my name is Aaron J. Marks. You can find out more about me at aaronjmarks.com. I'm a visionary purpose coach and a metaphysical leadership mentor. To my knowledge, I'm the only one in human history who's claimed either of those titles, and those that know me well tell me they couldn't imagine better ones for me. For as long as I can remember, I felt like my mind has worked just a little differently than most people's. At times it's been uncomfortable, but I've begun to see that it's actually incredibly important and that there's never been a better time to share the way that I think and see with the creative and entrepreneurial leaders out there who need to hear it. This is my podcast, A Higher Level. Everything we think, see, and do here happens on a higher level, and that makes all the difference. For some of you, these are among the most important and transformational conversations you will ever hear, and they will fill in something you may not have even known was missing, but something that is essential for your happiness and transformation. This podcast is all about creating a space for these conversations, a place to explore your deepest and most persistent questions about the human condition, a place to dream, play, and muse about the meaning of it all, a place people tell me only I can help them access, and a place of crucial importance for the human spirit and our future as the human race. On a higher level, everything is vast, rich, beautiful, and deeply optimistic. Join me there now, on a higher level. Hi, this is Aaron of aaronjmarks.com. I'm a visionary purpose coach and a metaphysical leadership mentor, and we are in the middle of a series all about metaphysics and my metaphysics that I use to coach and guide leaders. So, I've been going through my 5-part metaphysical model of existence, and so from the ground up, it's motion, life, action, strategy, purpose. So we've talked about motion and life, and now here we are talking about the realm of action. So action is a very special realm. This is and this is really where we start to ask those questions of what does it mean to be human? And what can we control? What can we change? How do we fully realize that, with this sort of unique spirit that we have as humans? And the realm of action was, or it is, it is the key to unlocking that a lot of that for me. So, this is where my conversation is going to start to get, it's going to start to deepen a little bit, and you're going to find it, directly relevant to what happens after you listen to this, So, to briefly review, so motion is merely is a dismissive way to say it. It's not merely, it's grand, it's majestic, right? It is existence, right? All that exists is in the realm of motion. By virtue of its motion in the cosmos, and then also by virtue of the subatomic motion, that happens in all matter. And then some of that, a little bit of that, takes on this, this other set of internal processes that, that guide, or that kind of unfold into growth and change and development. We call that life. That's a beautiful, mysterious, wonderful thing too, right? So we're part of the realm of motion. We're part of the realm of life, right? Now you can go into a vegetative state and be in the realm of life, right? And it's, we recognize there's something tragic about that, right? Like, humans are not here merely to live. Humans are here to do something else, enact other more metaphysical, metaphorical processes of growth, change, and transformation, right? And so we start to understand, we start to develop a language to describe the structure of that when we get to the realm of action. So we know that we humans are in motion, right? In many, many ways. And we know we're alive. And then some life, it develops this sort of cognitive capacity, and these are typically the creatures that we think of as having brains. They're animals for the most part, although there are some plants, again, there's gray areas between these. So for example, a Venus flytrap seems to take actions, right? It has this, this leafy structure that closes and closes, and like almost turns into a stomach. It has like an animal process about it, right? sometimes we look at those things and there's like, oh, that blurs an uncomfortable boundary, and that's why it's sort of like has this horror about it, and that's why it can be like the central horrific feature of something like Little Shop of Horrors. It sort of blurs that boundary in an uncomfortable way. I mean, I was even talking to a friend of mine, and he said, yeah, actually, people say Venus flytraps must have a form of memory of some kind, right? So it's like there's a nervous system, like a very, very primordial nervous system in a Venus flytrap, because and this is interesting if you don't know this, the way a Venus flytrap works, because closing that trap takes a lot of energy, and a plant like that cannot grow and develop, if it's wasting energy all the time. And so it has to be really darn sure that it is closing its trap for good reason, using that energy to get a return on investment. So, the mechanism of the Venus flytrap works this way. There's these little hairs on the inner surface of those traps, and the hairs have to be triggered in succession, and there's actually like an amount of time between the first and the second one that has to be just right. It can't be too quick, can't be too long, or else the trap won't close. But if those conditions are met, then the trap will close, and it'll kind of seal, and again start pumping in these digestive juices, to start breaking down the poor creature that finds itself trapped and conscious in there for all of it. So like he said, yeah, it's akin to memory. Like, what else do you call that, right? In humans, like that's, or in animals, like we call it memory, anything that works that way. So it's like that's weird to think about. It's crazy, right? Again, the boundaries are not so hard and fast. You do have plants that do kind of approach that realm of action, but in a very primordial way. So for the most part, you can think about insects and animals, and animals include fish and birds and mammals, and then ourselves, of course, right? We have this cognition, we have brains and nervous systems that give us this thing called awareness. It's hard to know like what a plant would be aware of, which is why it's like plants alive, but we don't tend to think of them as aware. Now I understand that it's a contentious thing to say. I know that plants respond to things. I know they respond to music. I know they respond to people talking to them, and that may be a form of like energetic response. I don't know, but to say that a plant is aware, like that seems like a strong statement to me, in a way that it would not be so strong to say that a cat's aware, a cow's aware, a bee is aware, and a human is aware. So I'm going to use this shorthand of cognition and awareness. And then what also comes from that is intention, and intention goes behind the actions that we take. So animals, including insects and fish and birds and mammals and reptiles and humans as well, it's a subset of mammals. We are in the realm of action. We have cognition, we have awareness, and that goes into a complicated feedback mechanism that forms intentions, and the intention is followed by action. Maybe you call it a will. That's a word that some people respond to, and more than others. But what happens, we take these actions in a sequence, in a way that plants don't seem to, is what I'm going to say. So here's the key insight to unlocking like this whole framework and helping you understand, like, why do I structure it the way I do, and why is it so helpful for people to hear me talk through this. So if you're in the realm of action, as all of these animals and us humans are, then because like reality is endless, time keeps going. Plants keep growing and developing, and for as long as they live, and all this motion is perpetual, or it seems. It started at the beginning, keeps going, right? And so does the realm of action. Okay, so like once beings enter the realm of action, once we're able to take those intentional actions, that derive from this complicated process of awareness and cognition and intention, We are taking actions all the time, right? One after another, sometimes multiple actions at a time. You're taking action right now. You are listening to me, and you're likely taking another action at the same time, right? Either driving or walking or exercising or doing housework or gardening, right? All the things people like to do when they listen to podcasts, and that's one of the cool things about podcasts is that it allows us to combine actions, to improve our results further. So we are taking actions all the time. I'm taking action right now. I'm recording this, and after this, I'm going to take more actions. Right now, here's the corollary of that. And this is like the even more significant realization that I had. Once you're in the realm of action, you cannot stop taking actions. Hear me? Not only do you take actions all the time, but the reason that you do is that you can't stop taking action all the time because time keeps going. There's this thing that I call existential friction. I'll likely record another episode about that. Keeps pushing at us. The future keeps coming. We can't stop it. We're beings in the realm of action, among others. And so we have to keep taking actions. We can't stop. So it's like you always have to answer this question. What do I do next? What do I do next? What do I do next? And the key work that I do, is helping people to examine that question. Like if I was going to sum it up, and I've never quite said it this way, but this is a great thing to come out of this. If I was going to sum up all of my work as that I do in what I call visionary purpose coaching and metaphysical leadership mentorship, it is examining that question. What do I do next? And how do I answer that question? And where do the answers to that perpetual question that I have to keep answering come from? And that's giving you the result that it's giving you. Okay. So let's think about this for a second, right? So the cows standing out in the field, they are taking actions all the time too, right? They can't help but to keep taking actions. Are they aware of the process by which they're taking them? I don't think so. Could they ever be? I tend to doubt it. I don't think their brains are capable of it. And, that's why we don't judge animals the way that we judge humans when they take certain actions. It's like if a bear kills someone, we sort of know largely they're acting out of their nature. And, so we don't punish the bear, we contain it more, right? Or we mitigate, the damage that we see it causing, right? So we either kill it or we put it in captivity, but it's not like we subject the bear to this, this intense self-examination process to say, hey, why are you taking the actions that you're taking? But with humans, with fellow humans, that's what we're doing all the time, right? We're constantly guiding each other to evaluate our behavior and the actions that we're taking. And we're saying, why are you taking that action? Don't you see the result that it's giving you? Let's contemplate that. Let's, let's use our self-awareness, and let's examine these actions. Let's do some introspection and tap into some of these higher realms that I'm going to talk about here in a second. And let's change those actions so that you get better results, right? Because everyone is taking actions all the time, right? So are animals, but we don't think about those the same way that we think about human action, right? So I'm taking an action right now. You're taking an action right now. The person who is sitting in their apartment on the couch, 5 miles away from you, watching Netflix and eating chips, is taking actions as well. And why do we take the actions that we do? And I have a very, very simple, very clear, very confident answer for this. Why do we take the actions that we do? Well, it's very simple. Like I said, the reason is that we think those actions are going to give us the best return on our investment, right? You are taking the actions in this present moment that you have deduced, through some process of calculation on many levels. And these calculations often happen without awareness. Again, that's one of the things I'm here to do, is to show, give you some awareness of the calculations that you're making. But we have all these internal calculations, some of which we're conscious of, some of which we're not. I think you can change that consciousness, right? That's sort of the premise behind psychology, right? Is that you can change that awareness. And that complicated calculation results in the action that you take in any given moment. And that calculation is, what is going to give me the best possible result? What is going to give me the best possible return on investment? I will do that, because one of the economic truths that must be true is that all humans are driven by a subconscious or maybe conscious motivation to maximize their return on investment. Now, that's a complicated equation. It's actually an optimization equation, because we derive return on many, many investments. It's not just a monetary thing. It's also a social thing, right? And then ultimately, it's like social capital is what drives most of that. And, again, like that is one of the things that I'm kind of here to bring awareness to you. But, of course, money is an important part of that. Money, is a very potent social force. It also happens to be the thing that cuts through much of the social forces. So, it's the thing people will respond to if they are not part of your social network, right? Within your social network and your influence, you can persuade people to do things in many, with many, many different kinds of incentives, not just money. But, if you're saying purely, what can I do, without any kind of like social capital, then money's the answer. So money has to be part of that. But the human calculation and equation of return on investment is a complex one. And I don't think that anyone's truly aware of all the variables that go into it. But everyone's next action is the result of running that calculation perpetually. And so again, one of the things I'm here to do is to give people a greater awareness of all the variables and the factors in their personal equation, and to be more intentional about how they optimize them. And that, I mean, I've never seen a counterexample of this. This always improves their results on many, many levels. So let's talk about results, right? Because one of the things that all actions have in common is they all get some kind of result, right? And so the moment you start looking at your results and saying, I don't think I like that result. I guess it's probably because of the actions that I take. If I don't like that result, I need to change the actions that I'm taking. You are consciously engaging in the fourth realm, which I call strategy. And so that is where we will go next. So again, the key insight of action is that beings of action, which includes us and includes, pretty much all the animals that we know of, and then even a couple of the plants, right? No, Venus flytraps are not taking actions all the time. Maybe they are. Anyway, don't worry about that too much. But it's like, for us, it's pretty controversial to say we're taking actions all the time. And the corollary of that is that we cannot help but to take actions all the time. And so we might as well become aware and intentional about the frameworks that are guiding our actions. We take the actions that we do because we think they're going to optimize our return on investment according to a very complicated and oftentimes subliminal calculation that we're running. And when we start to look at our results and say, I don't like these results, I should change my actions, then we enter the next realm, which is strategy. So I will see you in that one. My name is Aaron of aaronjmarks.com. I'm a visionary purpose coach, a metaphysical leadership mentor, and we've been talking about the realm of action. I'll see you for strategy. Thanks so much for listening to A Higher Level. I hope that got you seeing, thinking, and acting just a little differently, or maybe even a lot. When you act differently, you get different results. But we need to start with the vision and the thinking. How do you feel? Ready to go and make positive, inspiring changes in your life and work? If so, it means what we're doing here is working, and I would love for you to let me know if this is you. There's a bunch of ways for you to get in touch with me. You can go to my website, aaronjmarks.com, or look for Aaron J. Marks, Visionary Purpose Coach and Metaphysical Leadership Mentor on Facebook, or you can look for Aaron J. Marks on LinkedIn or Instagram, whatever is easiest for you. And if this is speaking to you, I might suggest that you think about becoming one of my leadership coaching clients. In our work together, we'll have conversations on this level, but tailored just to your life and aspirations. You really can't imagine what a difference this can make for your mindset, vision, and results. The first step after learning more about my approach is to book a free, no-obligation discovery call, both of which you can do at aaronjmarks.com. If your intuition is nudging you, don't wait any longer. It is likely the next step along the marvelous journey of wherever you are here to go and whatever it is you are here to do. And I can't wait to meet you. Thanks again for listening, everyone. I'll see you on the next episode when we'll continue to see, think, and act on a higher level. I'll see you then. A Higher Level is the official podcast of Aaron J. Marks, visionary purpose coach and metaphysical leadership mentor. Learn more at www.aaronjmarks.com. A Higher Level is written, recorded, edited, and produced by Aaron J. Marks. Music is by Aryeh. I'll see you next time on A Higher Level.